Okay, so we're live. Hi, Ben from Broil King again. This is another Searing Saturday. So this week, we're actually going to answer a question we got about 2 weeks ago, and it said, how do we cook steak on stainless steel cooking grates or cast iron cooking grates? We're going to get there, but first we're going to start with meat. So right now, we're at Brady's Meat and Deli here in Waterloo, Ontario. This is Rob. This is Rob Brady. Hey guys, this is Rob who owns the place. So Rob is going to tell us about steak. The first thing we're really going to go through is what do you look for in a steak? So he's going to cut us some steaks that we're going to then go and grill. But at first we're going to talk meat. So let's start here. Rob, what are you cutting for us today?
So we have a New York strip loin here, prime grade. I've just cut one here, just to give you an idea. You can see the beautiful marbling in here. Trimmed down, of course. That one's ready for the counter.
Perfect. So then let's talk about, let's start with trimming. So what do you mean by trimming? What do you got to do with the steak?
So I'll show you. I'll cut one to give you a quick idea. That's how the strip loin comes off the loin. You can see some extra fat across here and a little bit of gristle in here. A lot of people will leave that in. We always take that off because that's going to spoil a good steak. But what you're looking for is beautiful marbling throughout the whole eye of the strip loin. Short tail, so I'll trim this one up and give you an idea.
So what we're grabbing here today is some New York strips. Since we're doing a video to teach you how to grill a steak on different materials, strips are a great way to teach. They've got an amazing consistency throughout. They don't have extra ribbons of fat that might cause them to fall apart if you give it too much heat or too little. So a ribeye that can be a little bit more challenging, it's not a great teaching steak. Strips, great to teach with.
So that's the perfect steak right there. As you can see, the gristle's been taken out, trimmed nice down. Usually a 1/4 inch fat. This one's a little bit leaner than normal. But some places you'll see they'll leave that whole really thick fat layer on the top. We always take that off. A little bit on the tail. That's it.
Nice. So then about marbling. What grade of meat are we dealing with here
This
today?
is actually prime.
So this is prime. So
Which
this
is the highest grade. More marbling, which means more juice.
Yeah.
Juicy, tender steak.
So, and then compare that to what you find in a grocery store. So if someone goes to the grocery store and they buy cut of meat there, what do they usually get? What grade would that be?
AAA would be the highest.
Yeah.
And then it only goes down from there.
Yeah.
Double A, single A. You'll see like steaks on sale for a really good price. They'll say cut from single/double A.
Yep.
That's usually a lot lower grade. It is a lot lower grade for a lot lower price, whereas this is on the higher end. And when you grill it, that's when you're going to get that really tender steak.
Perfect. Now, what's the important part about marbling? Is it flavor? Is it moisture? Is it all of that?
I'd say all of that.
It's all of that. Yeah. Yeah. Because as that fat breaks down, it's got lots of flavor in it, and that's just going to basically pack your steak with that much.
You're guaranteed when you buy prime, you're guaranteed the best thing as long as you grill it properly.
That's just. So then when you're cutting steak, what do you usually cut them to? What's the average thickness on steak?
I'd say about 1 inch is the average.
Yeah.
See the thickness here? It's a nice size. Sometimes we want 2 inch, like a body steak, like 3 inches. You want to slice it on pies and share it. But this is the average size that we've got.
And then a strip roast like this, where would that come from on the cow?
From the loin.
That comes from the loin?
Yeah. So this is half of your T-bone.
Yeah.
Plus the tenderloin attached with the bones in the middle will give you the whole.
Yeah, and if you flip this over, you can actually see exactly where the bones would have run against us on the inside.
So this is the back of the animal here.
Yep. Perfect. And this has got awesome marbling throughout.
Fantastic.
So that's meat.
And it's aged too, which is huge.
Oh yeah, that's one of the biggest things because with grocery store meat, it's probably not aged.
I'd say the average
to the same extent.
Average would be 14 days.
Yep.
Which they would classify as age. Ours is minimum 28, maximum 50.
Okay.
Sometimes depends on the gut, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, so those are the strips that we're gonna pick up today. We're gonna grill those things up and show you how they work on your cooking grates. Like I said, meat's the best place to start because if you've got great steak is gonna taste great when it's grilled. If you're starting with an average steak, you can do things to it to make it better, but an average steak's always an average steak. Start with great meat, get a local butcher. As I say to people all the time when we're doing training, you look at a butcher kind of like a sommelier for meats. So you go to a sommelier to learn wine, you go to your butcher so they can tell you basically, this is what's best right now. These are the things that are really popular, and this is what we carry that people love. So speaking of which, what's something hot in steak right now that people are really into?
This cut here is one of my favorites. It's called a sirloin cap in Canada. Another name for it would be culotte. In South America, it has a much better sounding name, they call it picanha. Fantastic. So it comes off the top sirloin, or another name is the top sirloin cover. Fantastic piece of meat. Has the beautiful fat cap on the back. Barbecued, searing on a really high heat into indirect, about 15 minutes a pound, so it cooks really fast. It's pretty spectacular.
Now, would you usually grill it whole or slice it and then grill?
I like to do it whole, but a lot of people will do, you see in the Brazilian steakhouses, they'll cut it into strips and put it on the big skewers.
Yeah.
That's the cut that we use.
Yeah.
And right now it's very hot in the summertime for us.
Yeah. This is actually one of my favorite cuts to grill as well, and what I'll often do is just leave the fat on. Clean it up as much as possible, but leave the fat on, because that's just going to end up like butter, and that flavor that goes along with the steak when you eat it is unmistakable. So, in any case, this is part one of this week's Searing Saturdays. I'm Ben Street from Broil King. This is Rob Brady from Brady's Meat and Deli.
Thanks, guys.
We'll move on to the grill next.